Hi, today I'm going to show you how to create an isometric grid system. So I've made a tile here. This one will be for the grass and this one for the water, and this is just like a template to create more tiles if I would like that. So the tiles need 3 values. It's going to be X grid, Y grid, and Z grid. So the player, I just made a ball here, needs the same values, X grid, Y grid, Y grid and Z grid, and we need something to store some values. So I've made a value holder. This needs X start and Y start, X grid, X level size, Y level size, and it needs X grid size and Y grid size. I think that's everything. So the X grid size and the Y grid size are going to be the width and height of the tiles that you make. So mine are going to be 32 and 16. So I can just type that right in there, 32 and 16, and go ahead and uncheck created start on the tiles. We also need an array to store values. This will be used to check if the grids we walk onto are not unpassable terrain, like water and stuff. So let's get going. I'll set a starter frame. Then we want to set the X start and Y start. We want to set the X start to the frame width divided by 2, and the Y start, of course you can choose whatever you want, but I'm just going to set it to the center of the screen, and I'll put Y start a bit from the top. So that's where the grid with the value 0, 0 will be. Also, the hotspot for this should be at the bottom here, in the middle of the bottom. In the middle and at the bottom. So let's start the loops. We're going to create a level or a plane. So let's start the loop create X. And this is going to run the number of X level size. We can just go ahead and put in some values there as well. I'll set it to 10 by 10. So on the loop, X create, or create X, I think I call it. Yep. Then we're going to start the loop create Y. And that is going to be the Y level size. So you can just copy the create X and change it to Y. So on create Y, we want to create the tile object. It doesn't matter where you create it, we're going to position it right away. So we want to set the X grid to the loop create X and set the Y grid to the loop create Y. So these will have their own I'm just going to add a counter just so we can see the values of all the tiles. So create an object, create a tile, and set the X grid to create X and Y grid to create Y. Then we're going to set the X position to, this is where the math comes in. We want to set it at X start, so that will be in the middle of the screen. Then we want to calculate how far from the screen, from the start point, we want to place it according to what grid values it has. So we'll add the X grid minus the Y grid and multiply this by the grid size here. So this will be 32 and divide this by 2. So now it's 16. So X start and X grid minus Y grid and multiply it by grid size divided by 2. And we can actually just copy this and do the same for Y position. Just change the X to Y here, and instead of and change this to X and this to Y, and instead of subtracting here, we want to add it. Also, if we're going to have use the C value, then we want to subtract the C grid and multiply that by, yeah, this is the last value that I didn't remember. It's the, we multiply the C grid by the C grid size. I'll just go ahead and add this here. C grid size. So this can be, if my tiles looks like this, then I should probably not use the C value, but I'm going to I'm going to push it down a bit. So I'm just going to add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then if I'm how big this is how big the C grid size should be. Oh fuck. So just going to fill that in. This looks right. And I'll do the same for this one. So since I pull it down by 6, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. I'll set the C grid size here on this to 6. So let's see what this does. It's created all the tiles, but since the animation is running, then we don't get to see the tiles properly. So I could add I could set the C value to something like random 3 and make this go before the positioning. So now they have different C values, and you can see that it looks they increase by the same amount as we pulled it down. So create, if I'm just going to make like a staircase type of thing, just to see how it looks. So if we're going to make a big level, then we will have a lot of objects here. So one way to fix this is to just paste the tile to the background and destroy it. We can't do this later because if I did, see now we only have 3 objects, but if I paste it to the background here and destroy it, then of course I have to delete these, then it will start destroying the last one that was created first, and then go upwards, and it will look weird like this. So we have to destroy it in the same event as here. So I'm just going to copy this, paste it there. So now it looks decent. We could create or choose where to create water. So I'm going to write some values to this here. We will change the animation frame of the tile according to which number or which value we write here. So I'm going to put 1 for the water now, and the X index is the loop create X. The Y index is the loop create Y. And the Z index is 0. The reason why I use all 3 dimensions is because later I'm going to use the other values or the C index to store the C value for the tiles, so that you can't walk up a mountain or something. So now we will write the value 1 to... oh wait, I'm sorry, this is my bad. This is before the loop. So we write 1 to whatever tiles we want. So let's put it in the middle, and 0 on the C index here. Of course, this has to go before the loop, and then we will change the animation frame of the tile that we create to the value of the array on the loop index, or on the create y and 0. This also has to be before we paste it to the background. Now I've created one water tile on the 5th x-axis and the 5th y-axis. So let's see, that didn't work. Force animation frame to yeah, that's because the array is a text array. We need it to be a number array and 0 base index. So there we have our water tile. So of course we could we could code all in here, or we could make a list and read it while we run the loop, but I'm not going to do that right now. First I will create the movement for our player. So I'll just I'll set the C grid to 0 on everybody. So now it's the flat plane. This one here is the water tile, and now for the movements. If we press up, of course we always have to set the player position to the same as and in the same way as we did with the tiles. So we can just copy all of this, delete everything that we don't need, and just drag these over to replace these here. So this should work, I think. Yeah, now it's here. You can see it's not positioned right where we want it. We want to have it sitting in the middle of the tile, so we have to offset the Y position by half the height of the grid size, of the Y grid size. So we'll subtract Y grid size and divide it by 2. So now it's in the middle of the grid tile. I'm just going to increase the size so it's easier to see. Like this. It's in the middle of the tile. So now for the movement. When we press the up arrow, we want to set the Y grid to its Y grid -1. So now when we press up, it will move up on the Y grid axis here. But since we didn't put any boundaries, we can walk straight out of the map. So let's set boundaries. That's why we have the array, so we can store all the values and just check if it's possible to move to that point. So we have to compare two general values. If the value on the XYZ position of its position X, since we want to move on the Y-axis, we have to check where, if the grid that we want to move to is free. So on the Y grid -1, since that's the way we're moving, and this and C 0, because that's the index of the array that we're reading the value from. If this is equal to 0, that means it's a land tile or grass tile. Then we can move to it, and we want to see that compared to general values again, that y grid -1 is lower or equal to the y level size. We have to check that it's greater than or greater or equal to 0. I think this might be just lower, but we can check that when we move on downwards. So now I'm pressing up. I can't move up because it's outside of the level. So I'm going to copy this, change all of these things to down, and then plus instead, since that's the way we're going to move. Plus here, plus here, and plus here. So now I can move up and down, but now I can move outside. So this here should be only lower, like this. So now I can't move outside. And if we want to be able to move on different C values like this. Oh yeah. We don't. We will always set the C value actually to the C grid value to its to the value from the array. So we're always at ground level. X grid, Y grid, and 1. This is where we will store the C values. So first let's do this and say write a value to the array. We want to write the C value of the grid that we're creating, the tile, to the loop index of create X and the loop index of create Y. And 1. And this has to be right after we give the C value to the tile, or at least before we destroy it, and after we give it the C value. So now we move down, up and down on the plane. We're always at ground level. Like see, I climb this little hill here and fall down this pit. So if we don't want to be able to move more than, for example, 1 on the C value at the time, so I don't want to be able to jump all the way down or up here, since it's 2 values in difference. So we'll add a new condition here. Compared to general values, if we're going to read the C value from the array, so needs to be the X grid, and the Y grid -1 since we're moving in that direction, and this C index 1. If this is lower than our C grid +1, let's say lower or equal, and just copy this over again and say if it's greater or equal than -1, and copy these over to the next one on the down arrow. But here we want to add instead of subtract on this, like this. So now I won't be able to move down that slope here. I can move one if the difference is only 1, but I can't move if it's 2 in difference. So now that's working. We're going to add right and left arrows. So actually we can just copy this and change it to right. This we have to add on the x-axis, X grid, and here we have to check if the X grid +1 and the Y grid here, check if the X grid +1 is lower than the X level size, and the X grid +1 is greater or equal than 0, and the X grid +1 instead of the Y grid +1. Oh, +1. And the X grid +1 instead of the Y grid +1. So now we have the right arrow as well. I didn't add the left one yet, but as you can see I can't walk up here because it's too height difference. So I'm going to copy this, add it to the left, subtract instead of adding. Same here, subtract since we're moving in that direction. There, there. I'm sorry if this is a bit confusing, but it's a lot to grasp at one time. So now I can move in all directions, and if I could make my way to the water tile, we can see that I can't move across the water. So I'm just going to set the C grid to 0 again on all the tiles. So now I'm going to try to move across the water. I can't. So if we want to have more tiles like this, we can just add more. I'm going to put sand here, for instance, and say, then I have to write 2 to this, since that's the water tile. I'm going to write 1 to X index 4, Y index 5, so this will be next to the water, will be one sand tile. The reason it didn't work now was because it was after the loop. So be sure to put it in front of the loop if this is the way you're going to create your level. And here is the sand. But we didn't do it so we can walk across the sand yet. So instead of having equal to 0 here, we can have lower than 2, since that's the water tiles. So I recommend that all the terrain that you can't cross would be at the end of this animation. So you can just check everything below it and you should be able to walk across all of those. So just change these to lower than 2. So now we can walk across the sand, but not the water. So now I'm going to show you a way to create a level out of a string. So for this we of course need a string. Just going to resize this just a little bit. And then we need a string parser object. It's right here. So the way I'm creating the string is it will, on the loops, we will read through the string one element at a time and give that value to the array, and the array will give that value to the tile and change the animation accordingly. So if you want water on the borders, we will put 2 here, and I'll add a delimiter that says that divides up the string. I can just show you right now. Actually, at start the frame we will add a delimiter, and this will be whatever you want to put, but I'll just put punctuation, I think it's called. Add this before the loop, and every time we put the delimiter sign here, it will divide the string up from the previous one to the next one of the sign that you added as delimiters. So if I were to write this and put a punctuation here, then this will be the first element and this will be the second element here. So since the level size is 10 by 10, we want to have 10 values. So I'm going to put water on the borders. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I'm going to have sand next to the water, and then grass in the middle. So this is how the level will look. Water across the borders, and then sand next to the water, like this. So now on the when we create the tiles, we want to set the source string to the string, alt string here. So that will set all of the everything that's written in the string will be saved in this string parser object, and then it will go through the string and divide it up to different elements by looking for the delimiters. So now we can check the delimiters. I'm going to demonstrate it here. If I press space, I'm going to change the alterable string to get element. Now I'll just put a value. You don't have to do this, I'm just going to show you how it works. And then I'll add 1 to the h value. So when I press space, this will run through the elements. So the first one was element 0. It doesn't save anything there. It's one base index. So now there's 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. And since I didn't put a punctuation here, it reads both this and this letter here. So now the next one will be 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2. So let's fix this so we don't get this mistake here. Yeah, we're going to run through the string. That creates the level. So on the create y loop, we will change the string to itself from the right -2, because we want to get rid of the first 2 characters in the string. So on the first loop we will get rid of the 2 and the punctuation. Then the next loop we will get rid of these 2, then these 2, then these 2, all the way to here. So we get rid of these 2. But then the enter or the new line counts as a character, so we have to get rid of that on the X loop. So just copy this over here, and instead of -2 we put -1. And then we want to set we want to write the value that we get from the string parser to the array, so we can look it up on the animations. So we want to convert, because the string parser only returns strings, so we have to convert the string to a value. So we want to get the element 1. Since we're deleting the text while we go through the loops, we can always just check the first element. And we will write this to, you guessed it, create X loop, create while loop, and the 0 C index, because that's where we stored the animations. So now I can just delete this. Be sure to have this in the right order. So I have to write the value here before I check the value. And then, let's see, I'm not sure if this has to be before or after. We will also set the source string to the alt-pro string here, and be sure to do it before the loop. We can just delete this. So something's not right here. Yeah, the mistake here was I forgot to put we have to go through the length of the string. So the length of this string here. Let's see. Right length of right of this string and length of this string minus 2. Here, minus 2. Copy this, paste it here, and this one has to be minus 1 actually. Also this I think is going to be after we start the loop. So now we can see that everything works. I can't move since there's water all around me. So I'm going to change the starting position of the player. So now we have a nice little map. And that's all. Now we can just change this to however we like, and we will change the level as well. I'm going to make a strip of water in the middle, and there it is. Next time I'm going to show you how you can snap to grids with your mouse, so you could use that for some games like SimCity or similar games where you build stuff and you want the mouse to snap to the different grids. So I hope you learned something, and I'll see you next time.